Oh, I've got things piled up at the moment. I'm working with a writer who's just almost finished the book, and there's a few chapters in there that I've given her all the information for. It's to do with my father-in-law, and that's finished now. She's done it, so things like that. It takes a long time to sit and type big long things, and I need the headspace and the time to do that. And also working with the police, going out looking for the remains of this missing person from a long time ago. They want to go out again, so I'll probably be going out again next week. We went out once, couldn't find anything because they took me to the wrong area, and I kept saying, this is not the area, this is not the area. But they said, oh, Syrians were here, let's just check this. And they had me up and down hills, walking. It must have been about 5 hours walking up hills, down hills, past lakes. Oh, gosh. And we were in the wrong place. I knew we were in the wrong place, but I just kept saying it. But we looked anyway, and I kept saying, no, this is not it, this is not here, no, this is not it. Told you, this is not it. So when I came home, I had a look at Google and tried to find. I know the area is not far from certain places, but I don't know what it's called. I don't know the address, but I knew it was from a certain distance in minutes and drive, like 10 minutes drive from that place, and 5 minutes drive from here, and there was this there and that there. So I have a rough general knowledge like that, but not the name. So this is why the police we don't know which area. But when I got home, I had a look. I found quite a few different lakes that it could be in different places that are really short, and I've pinpointed an area, and they came up at the same area as well. So hopefully when we go out next time, we both have more to go by, and we'll be in the right area, and hopefully we'll find what we're looking for. I just know she is there in that lake. Don't know how I'm so sure. I just know it. I just know. I know it deep inside. I've always known. And I gave the information to the police at the time, but it was just buried and covered, filed away and not looked into. No one has ever found or had a clue where this woman is, ever. She's never been found a trace or any DNA, nothing. Yet the husband has been charged with manslaughter and did his time, and he's out now. But I've asked the police if she is found in this area where I say she was, and I was with him at the time. So it would prove that beyond a doubt that he put her there. So I think he can be charged. We opened the case and charged with, I don't know, disposing of a body that's illegal and things like that. And he might get charged with murder. I don't know. I think the police said yeah, he could be. He could face other charges if she's found. So it'll be big news again if she is found. A bit worried about that. But I hope she is found, I really do. Our family have never given up hope, and this is the only clue they've ever had. When they say murderers go back to the victims' bodies just to check and things like that, sometimes to check that, it's still there and nobody's discovered it. Well, this is what happened. He went back, and I happened to be with him, and he thought he went unnoticed, but I was watching him from the corner of my eye while he was doing what he was doing, and that's what I saw. Very weird. He was in the lake up to his chest, went wading out, and he was looking at something and kicking something and pushing something down in the water on the other side of the bank. I was sitting watching the girls on the other side, and he went off wandering, and he was acting very weird. And they say, people say some killers, they weren't themselves, they had this evil look in their eyes, they were in a trance or something like that. He was like that this day. He was completely in a trance. I've never seen that, trance figure like that. Somebody transforming, from normal to weird like that. I've never seen that happen like that. But he did. That's the only ever time I saw him change like that. Other times, very charming, very posh, millionaire, very well-to-do, went to Oxford and all that. His kids went to Oxford, and very talented people, very educated and very clever, all can play musical instruments, speak languages, and all things like this. So I find him very interesting to talk to, and he was nice to have as a friend, very entertaining and good fun. Always very open about everything. His house was always left open, lovely big house in Holland Park. Leaves his house open, you go in, he doesn't expect you to ring the bell, and people just walk in. I don't do that, but I always knock, and I don't like doing that. Even if people don't mind, I still don't do it. Don't walk into people's houses like that. But he lets everybody, kids used to be running wild in the house, wrecking everything, but beautiful house he has, plenty of money. So there's a lot of money involved in things, and with the families, her family and his family, and or him and the wife's family. A lot of heartache and grief over the years, especially with the daughter. Was my daughter's friend, best friend, and from the time they were 4 till the time they were about 19, so that's 15 years, you know, a long time. And even afterwards as well, when they left school, they were still friends. So we've seen a lot over the years, and my heart used to go out to poor girl. Her father being arrested for the murder, and the mother never having the mother. It's a very sad situation, it really was. And I tried to do everything I could and let her spend as much time as she wanted with us. She did, she spent a lot of time with us. Anyway, and now I'm in this situation years later like this, and we could find her. So that's what I've been doing in my personal life. The book will be out. That's going to be very interesting. It's about a lady who lived in Ireland, and she was accused of spying for Israel in 1950s. Went to Ireland. No one knew where she went. She disappeared off the face of the earth, but went to Ireland and had a little farm there and a little shop or a business, and got very well known in the village and well liked for a long time. And then she died, and then somebody picked up her story and decided to do the book. The thing is, when she was arrested for spying in Israel, she was working at some consulate, American consulate, or some embassy. That's how she got to know my father-in-law. He was the head of, at the time, he was an embassy worker, an attaché, or I don't know what it said he was in the paper, a minister, some sort of representative of the embassies high up. See, the family, the reason why they get high up is because they're army people. The father was a general, and my mother-in-law's father was a general. So they get the people in, so you don't even have to be qualified in anything. They give you these positions. So he had a very high position from very early on. In the 50s, he was a very young man. He was a lawyer, sworn lawyer, in 3 languages, French, Arabic, and English. He's a journalist, he was a writer, he was a photographer. And then he was working for the CIA, he was multi-spy, and he became head of secret intelligence for 40 years after that. He was also an ambassador. He knew JFK. He was best friends with Kissinger for decades, many years. Very good friends with Henry Kissinger. And that can be proven. He was at, there's a list that you can go to. He was in the United Nations as well, so you can go to United Nations. That is actually online. There's not much about him online. This is why the writer, when she was looking for information, she came to me. I'm the only one that's talking about him, and days before the internet, and he died a couple of years ago. And I found this stuff about this spy online, and we asked him, and he said he doesn't know anything about it. It's lies, don't believe it. It's lies, nothing to do with me, blah, blah. It's lies, that's all he said. But this woman, when she got arrested, she claimed to be married to him, my father-in-law, Gallup Keali. Now he was, as I said, he was working at the United Nations. You can go onto the United Nations website and look at past ambassadors and past embassy workers in the White House and things like that. And his name is there in the 50s and 60s and 70s and all that. And Henry Kissinger was there at the time as well. So by me saying best friends Henry Kissinger, oh, that's impossible. Well, it's actually proven there, you can see. So it's no stretch of the imagination to say that they were friends. They were working together. He was a spy, absolutely. He said that openly. He got paid openly from embassies for badmouthing one embassy and one government to another. When he used to come to London, Years ago, he gave us the flat in Kensington. We lived there for 15 years. No, for about, sorry, 12 years, maybe 12 years. And then we moved out. But he owned this flat and he used to come for a month at a time. Oh, God, it was horrible. Oh, we used to dread this when he came. But it was, we used to say, oh, God, it's worth it for having a free flat. And he paid all the bills and the phone bill and everything. We didn't have to pay anything. And he gave my husband an allowance every month. That was good, you know. Couldn't complain. So we thought, well, we can put up with a month of bullshit and all this. I had this younger wife, or another story. I can go into stories about these. Oh God, it was like Dallas. People used to be wanting the next instalment at work, what was going on all the time. So he used to come to London, and when he'd come, he'd have all these dinner parties, and oh, I'd have to do all the cleaning, and he'd insist on doing all the cooking himself. He was a good cook, and he loved Arabic food. His friends loved Arabic food. He used to invite, I remember these people, these names really in my head. He used to invite Helga Graham and Patrick Seal. I remember those two very clear. And I found out now, and I looked them up years later, they're both editors of the Times and the Observer, political editors. And I remember they were so impressed with Patrick Seal because he was, I don't know, he was English or Irish, maybe something like that. But he could speak fluent Arabic. These people are still alive. They're very old though now. They would be in their 70s, 80s, 90s at least. So these people could, he could speak Arabic fluently. And I remember I wasn't long married, and I was so jealous that they were admiring him for speaking Arabic. So I said, I'm going to speak Arabic as well. Silly, but I've got a really good memory and listening to conversations, and I'll ask, what does that mean? What does this mean? And I remember it. And then, you know, I'm going to Syria as well. And, you know, and I went there. Not a lot of people speak very good English. My mother-in-law couldn't speak any. Oh God. So I had to speak Arabic to get by. You learn so much just being away for a few weeks and you can't speak any language, only that. You get by and you learn so much. So I learned a lot of Arabic, and nobody could hide anything. They used to know I could understand everything. So watch what they said. Though, you know, it was funny. But when I went to Syria, the one time, now I didn't know this till later. My mother-in-law didn't tell me, but the driver we had was President Assad's nephew. And all she kept saying to me was, please don't laugh at the president. Don't laugh at his big head and his big forehead. Don't make jokes. You will get shot, please. And I said, look, what do you think I am? I'm not going to say anything. But I didn't realise that was his family. They would have shot us, and she knows what I'm like. I'm always taking the piss. I remember she was absolutely terrified. I mean, I wouldn't have I'm not that stupid. I wouldn't have let anything slip at all. Actually, I'm just going to keep this here and I'll add a nice background onto it. So when I went to Syria, well, we opened this, I'm rambling here, it's all good information. We opened this, when we first got married, we opened this public relations office, and it was what we used to do was any Arabs coming to England, we would hire, maybe they used to book these private hospitals for operations, shopping things, big flats, big mansions, all things like this, and want to buy loads of stuff. So we used to just be the middleman, and I'd book all the stuff for them. We take fees. And then his dad also sent people to us who wanted stuff. We also did Arabic and English typesetting for books and things like that. We used to do printing. We had the printers in Syria. We would do the typesetting and things like that and send them to Syria to be printed. Anyway, things would be sent to us in London to do as well for the embassies and things like that, because his father was in the embassy. So one of the things he wanted us to do was, those big pictures that are in Syria and Iran, around all the Middle East, you see big photos of the president, they're everywhere. He wanted those made, some of those, just enlarged. He sent us the actual photographs and we just had to enlarge them all. So he sent us these pictures, we got them done, sent them back, and but when we saw them, oh my God, his head is bloody huge, his forehead, and we were laughing. And I said, he's going to go mad. You could see every vein. The pictures were too good. They showed too much reality. What he was, oh God, you could see he didn't like them at all. And he sent them back and we had to cut some off his head. He said it was too big. It was so funny. So it was just when I went there and we had his nephew driving us and his mother kept saying, don't laugh, don't laugh. It was all these pictures up everywhere we're driving and people have them in their houses, they're in the cars, they're everywhere. And you can't say anything about the presidents over there. You get killed. There's secret police, mukhabarat, they're called there. The secret police, they call them. And they're just guys in civilian clothes, but they have a machine gun. So you know who they are. They're just standing there with a machine gun. They're everywhere on every... Just like, oh, they're everywhere listening to everybody, what they're saying. Oh, it was very, very dodgy, some... For civilians, I'd say. I had connections there and I was safe, and the airport did keep me for a few hours. It was very scary. I was kept there when I went first, and but I knew my father-in-law would get me out, so I wasn't afraid. I just thought it was really exciting. But you know, anybody else, it'll probably be really scary because these people don't mess about. They would shoot you in an instant and don't care. They don't care. Absolutely. You can't call the embassy over there. They don't care. Nobody will care. So it's very dodgy, these places. But when I was younger, I didn't care. I was really mad and wild. That was all added to the excitement for me. But that was funny. And when I was there, I mean, the only people we mixed with were army people. You call them army people and government people. That's what they call them, all government people. And we were going out at night and we'd have 3 or 4 chaperones. We went to places like Latakia, Aleppo, places like that. And we'd always have these chaperones. I thought they were just friends. Because she didn't tell me, but they were secret police. They go everywhere with you, escort you everywhere. And I just thought, oh, you know, it's nice to have chaperones going out clubbing and going to the places, having music and drinking and all that all night long. It was great. And we went to a place by the sea, hired a place by the sea. Went, oh, it's such a laugh. I mean, you know, and you're teaching people English and teaching them funny words, and the people are really funny. I love the Syrian people. When I went, I always had a great time there. The people are very warm and friendly and funny, really. They like a laugh and a drink, you know, and like the Irish. God, we used to stay up all night dancing, singing and all that. It was so funny. Me and my mother-in-law and all these men. All secret police and flipping God knows what. And she used to say, don't tell Appen, don't tell Appen, don't tell Appen what? We're not doing anything, we're just having fun, having a laugh. She was completely different over there. She taught me to belly dance and everything, and she started telling me all these stories about the embassy, taking cocaine. They'd be passing around the plates, silver plates and a little silver spoon in the embassies. And, you know, that's the only... She loved her life. She loved the high life and private jets and with Saddam's family and all that. She loved all that. That's the only life she knew. And, oh, she revelled in it. She thought she was some queen. She really did think she was queen and behaved like a spoiled brat. But I liked her. She was alright, you know. But very spoiled. She's the only child and very spoiled by her dad and mum and dad and her brother and all the family. Wanted her own way all the time. Or she drove everybody mad. She was a bit like my mum, I suppose. Arab version. My mum thought that as well. My mum was never on public transport in her life. She never got a bus or a train or anything like that. She always had chauffeurs and cars to take her everywhere. My sister, even if she wanted to go and visit my sister in London, my sister would have to come down and pick her up to take her up there, or her husband more or less did all the running around. My sister would send her husband down to pick up my mum, to bring her to London just to visit my sister, and then have to bring her back as well. And going around the world, have to go with her around the world and take her everywhere and bring her back. She wouldn't go unless she was, you know, wheeled everywhere. Nah, she wasn't wheeled, she didn't have the... But door to door, easy. And if you did all the packing for her, we used to be going away on holiday and she would leave it to the last minute. No, I'm not going, I'm not going, I'm not going. No, I'm really not going. And we'd be saying, come on, you have to come, you have to come, you have to come. She'd leave it to the last minute. And then 10 minutes before the taxi is due to arrive, she'd decide to come. And then we'd have to make a big mad. She'd make everybody late. She did it all the time. Looking for attention. That's it, looking for attention. So my mother-in-law was the same. Oh God, imagine that. Imagine having a mother and a mother-in-law behaving like this. Madness. Remember at one time in Syria, we had this public relations office. It's another story. And one of the jobs we were given by the Syrian government was to do some photographs of the president, you know, for those big posters they have in the country all over the place, all on the walls, and everyone has. So they sent us the photographs and we had to get them blown up into big posters. And oh God, every little vein came out on his head, and his head looked too big like a Martian. He didn't like them, and we had to redo them and chop a bit of his head off. His forehead. So when I went to Syria, we actually had his nephew driving me around. He was the one that picked me up at the airport, and I didn't know, but they just said, oh, somebody come and pick you up at the airport, wherever, you know. And you just assume, but I found out later it was the president's nephew. So my mother-in-law kept saying, we drove to Beirut and drove around to a few places, sightseeing, and went out on a few evenings and things like that. And my mother-in-law, she just kept digging me in the ribs. Don't say anything, don't say anything. Please, don't say anything, we'll get shot. So even she was terrified. I'd say, oh, something about the big head or something. And it was so funny. She was terrified. I'm like, come on, I'm not stupid, you know. But she didn't want to tell me who he was. Really, that's what it was. I didn't know till afterwards, so, you know. Could have said something, but she did warn me, don't say anything about the president. Do not mention anything about the president, especially the head. I just thought that was really funny. President's big head. That's a true story. Another story, which, well, this wouldn't even be a story, wouldn't get out, but one of the things they asked us to get as well was for to get some clamps. You know, the clamps were all the rage here in the 90s and whatever when they came out. And people were going crazy. These clamps were clamping everyone's wheels and causing riots. Syria loved that. The president loved that idea. And he said, get me some clamps. And I said to my husband, I said, no way, I'm not putting that on the people. No way. I said, that's one job I'm not doing. So I refused that. We turned down that because of me. Because I didn't want the people suffering those stupid clamps. He wanted us to, we were like a public relations, which is like an intermediary, I suppose, a middleman, and they'd tell us what they wanted, and we'd go and find out who does this stuff and who would do it. So, you know, and I've saved a few people's lives as well. Not many know that, but I have one person on my Facebook at the moment who I saved her life years ago. She doesn't even know. I've never mentioned it. But that was serious, and she shouldn't be here now. I saved her life. I might go into that one day. It's my Syrian bit of the family. What it was, I'll say it quick, was the mother-in-law wanted to get married again, and it was the president's cousin, because her and her father divorced years ago. So she wanted to get married again, and I said, yeah, please, tell her yes. She asked us, and she was crying all the time on the phone. I'm so lonely, I'm this, and always on the phone crying. So I said, look at her off our backs. Say yes, let her get married. So we said, yeah, get married, it's a great idea. The president's cousin, yeah, that's an in, you know, blah, blah, blah. That would be great, you know. Say yes. So we told her. Anyway, she came up with 3 conditions. She said to us, we came up with the 3 conditions. She came up with some, and the family between them. One was to get her brother back into Syria, because he was on the run as well from the Syrian government. Any defectors, you know, you say anything about the government, they want to kill you. So he had to leave, and he's lived in Germany for years and years and years, married to a German doctor. Anyway, so get the death penalty lifted from him and give him permission to come back to Syria, because he wanted to bring his children and his wife there. He was never able to go back, and he loved Syria. He loved it, and he missed it so much. And it is sad if you can't go back to your homeland. really, you know, if you're not allowed. That's quite sad, really, and you want to go back and visit friends and family and all that, and you can't. And the other ones were my husband had the same thing, and his brother both had the same thing. She wanted the 3 of those lifted and let them be able to go back with his family. Because I could go to Syria, and my husband couldn't for a long time. And then he was able to go back, that was done, and the brother was able to go back, and the uncle was able to go back free. You get a special letter from the embassy, go get the letter, you bring it there, and you're exempt from it everywhere. You just show this letter and whatever's in your passport, and you just get through all the barriers, and nobody can, and they had to have a guarantee that it wouldn't be evoked, and they wouldn't have any trouble when they got there as well, you know, just get you into the country and then kidnap you and torture you, whatever, because they do that. And I mean, I was held for a while, that's another story as well. Well, they found out who I was and they came and got me, but I just thought it was exciting. But anyway, the other condition, that was the 2 conditions. The other condition was to kill the husband's new wife, Aisha. She's on my Facebook. So I'm a stepmother-in-law, really. So they wanted her dead because of the will and the trouble she was causing and everything else. And these were the conditions. And I said, you can't do that. I said, fair enough, the other ones are legitimate, that'd be good. I said, but you can't kill somebody, that's disgraceful. You can't kill her. You just cannot kill her. And we talked about this for a while, and eventually they agreed, no, we won't kill her, we'll leave her. So I saved her life. She was dead. And I've been told that the cost of a life is the cost of a bullet. That's what a human life is worth. And that's like a penny. That's the cost of a bullet there. That's what I was told. You know, oh, life means nothing. And I said, well, what needs to change? I said, I'm not agreeing with this. I'm not on board with this at all. Not in the slightest. I didn't like the woman. She did cause a lot of trouble, and she did get everything left to her in the will, and no one else got anything. But, so, I don't know. But I didn't want that on my conscience anyway. So that's that. I actually felt quite sorry for my husband at the time, my ex-husband, they were still friends. When he was going to Syria, I mean, he was absolutely terrified because you don't really have any guarantee at these kind of countries. But, you know, they got the letters stamped and assured by the president that they'd be safe, and it did work out okay, but he was absolutely bricking it. He was terrified, but it was so emotional because he hadn't been there since he got sneaked out of the country when he was 18. So he was only sort of maybe 30 when he was able to go back, or older. I can't remember the exact age. But it was Gina was born and everything, so he was able to take Gina there a few times as well, see family, and she loved Syria. She really liked it there, loved the people. The people are very friendly. So it's quite sad what's happening there today. Anyway, that's just a little bit out there. This is just President Assad Senior is the old president who we know. I don't know the new one. He was only young. He's still young. But this is the president's big head. I just typed in President Assad's big head, and look what came up. Why did Assad Senior have such an enormous head? So it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. Look at the size of that forehead. Anyway, I just thought I'd add that. It's a bit of a giggle.